reveals real reason for his ordeal in UK. And on sport, under 17 Afghan, can Nigerians Golden Eaglets win third trophy, qualify for World Cup? Workers Day NLC demands for 65 years retirement age. Still on Daily Post newspaper, SEC blacklists 6 illegal online trading platforms, and that's on the business aspect. Moving away from Daily Post and to The Nation. The Nation newspaper, pay rise coming for health workers, lecturers, others. Government officials suspended over alleged salary pattern. Governors hail workers on May Day. On the Nation newspaper, Legushi to establish Lagos History Center in Lasu. 1,350 more Nigerians leave Khartoum in Sudan. Kano Emirates have come to stay, Ganduje replies Kwankwaso. On Daily Trust newspaper, it will take miracle to pay workers' salary from June, Obaseki says. Four robbery suspect arrested 1 month after operation in Ogun State. Kano Sales block industry for violating sanitation order. Bus conveying stranded Nigerians from Sudan catches fire. On Vanguard newspaper, cancer scare, beg your pardon, why we banned Indomie noodles, NAFDAC. Why we banned Indomie noodles, NAFDAC. Southern Kaduna, 518 killed, 18 villages razed in 6 years. Pertaining to the May Day halt, last-minute looting, Labour tells Buhari. And UTME, JAMB reschedules exams to Saturday. Address issues causing brain drain in health sector. NOHAB charges federal government. Okay, let me take this particular story on the Punch newspaper, which is actually dominating, let me say, a larger part on the front page of Punch newspaper. Tinubu promises tough decisions, NLC demands a new retirement age. Okay, ahead of his inauguration on May 29th, the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has promised to take tough and hard decisions to reposition the country for the benefit of the citizens and workers. He solicited the People's Cooperation and support for his incoming administration in fighting poverty, ignorance, disease, disunity, and ethnic and religious hate, which he described as common enemies. The president-elect said this in a statement to commemorate the 2023 Workers' Day on Monday, just as the Nigeria Labour Congress demanded that the retirement age for civil servants should be raised to 65 years and the length of service to 40 years. The pledge by the former Lagos State governor is coming against the backdrop of the high inflation, huge foreign debts, infrastructure deficit, high youth unemployment, and insecurity confronting the country. Let me give the mic to Oluwase Yakombi, who is my analyst on this program this morning. Good morning, Oluwase Yakombi.
Good morning to you, Claudius.
It's
Nice to be here.
nice having you.
Yes, nice to be here also.
And you're looking good, by the way.
Just like you.
No, don't do that now. Thank you very much for coming once again. You heard, I'm sure you're aware of this story. Tinubu promises tough decisions. NLC demands new retirement age. Do you think this is a good demand from the NLC?
To me, it is not a good enough. That shouldn't be priority of NSC. Maybe it should be one, but to me, it's not even necessary. Demanding new retirement age. What should be the focus? What should be the priority of the Nigeria Labour Congress should be enhancing, a call, for the enhancement of standard of living of Nigerian workers, because that has been the issues of, for many ages. Uh, it's quite unfortunate that uh, we are still talking about 30,000 as a minimum wage for Nigerian workers. Very, very ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
Very ridiculous. You know, like 10 countries in Africa, the smallest of them, that is such as their minimum wage as of today, 2023, is 198,000 and some nairas. 198,000. So yes, you can say the population is low. That is very, very small, like 500,000 in population. But of course, your population and your economy, your economy will definitely be in alignment with should be in alignment with your population. So we cannot say it's because they are small in population. That is why they are coming up with 198,000 naira as a minimum wage. We have other countries that are the likes of South Africa, Libya, Egypt, Morocco, Mauritania, and so many countries like that in Africa. When you compare those countries and Nigeria, you will know that we've erred. We've erred in the area of workers' welfareism. So, as I was saying, the increments in retirement age should not even be from number 1 to number 10. Should the priority or demands of NSC, but this issue of minimum wage, where the cost of living, dwarfs what workers are earning. A worker that will go to a place of work at least 24 days in a month, and when you now say you are collecting, let's assume 50,000 or 50,000, and every day you cannot say what you are collecting or getting per day in your salary is, let's say, 2,500. And if you are collecting 2,500 per day, it means your income will be around 70,000. So if you are now spending, you are collecting 50,000, and you are spending like 2,000. When you remove money for transportation, money for feeding, money and dinner, then you remove other miscellaneous expenses.
Yeah.
What do you have? You will discover that you are just wasting your time with that government job you are doing. So it is very ridiculous with the money our workers are getting. Now, let me now go back to the issue of age bracket,
factor, yeah.
age factor. If you are earning more, if you are getting what you are supposed to get as a salary, as your wage, which means even before age 50, you would have achieved everything that you want to achieve.
That's if you're serious, though.
Yes, if you're serious. Now, I'm not even referring to the unserious people now. I'm referring to serious workers.
Okay.
So, if you are getting what you are supposed to get as salary, as wage, by age 50, you'll be okay. Is it house you want to build? Is it a car you want to get? You want to train, you have a problem. If at the end of the month, after spending, buying food, doing other things, you can still say, I'm saving 30,000, 40,000, every month, like that. Which means in a year, you'll be having like 800,000, or 500 at least thousand in a year savings, aside other expenses. So by age 50, you have a problem. You won't have to go and alter your date of birth so that you
won't have official age
you
and
have,
all.
that is what is obtainable in civil service today. You have the real age, then you have
official
the official age that government. You will even see some people that when they know that this one is I'm getting to retirement and okay, they will go to court again, go and do another court affidavit. So when everything, the welfare is well taken care of, you won't have the need to say, I want to reach age 50. Let me say only 30%, or maybe not even up to that, of retirees are actually the age, their real age when they retired. That 60, those people who are saying, okay, I'm retiring at the age of 60, they're actually close to 70. That is just a fact. Why? Because they've just tried everything just to remain in service so that they can get some things. So the priority of NSC should not be is ridiculous for them to be asking for another age this thing. So their priority should be governor. The 30,000 minimum wage you are talking about now, most of the state governors have not started implementing. Most of them. Some of them are still, paying 19,000. Some of them are still paying 18,000. Most of the state, only the federal government I can see maybe they've at least implemented it to some level. But virtually, most of the states have not done that. So what do we say? Is it a state that are even paying half salary in a month? Is it states that have backlogs of salary arrears?
Talking about salary, I would like to pick this particular story on another newspaper. Moving away from the Punch newspaper now. This story, my salary is 942,000 naira monthly. I have no allowances, Chris Ngige says. Okay, I would like to take that story. Amid calls for a needed increase in the 30,000 national minimum wage, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has disclosed that his and other ministers' monthly salary is 942,000 after taxation. Ngige, who was speaking on Channels Television's Politics Today yesterday, also said they don't have allowances as ministers accept duty allowance when they have to travel for work. My salary is 942,000 naira a month. My salary with my PA, gross total after tax, my feeding, my transport, the transport of one PA, the salary of my gardener, my cook, they are all consolidated. After heavy taxation, they pay me 942,000 naira. Oluwaseyi Akobi.
That is his own opinion.
Okay, that's his own.
Of course, as a minister, a governor will tell you that my salary is not even up to 1 million, and that is why you must have had in some cases where you say why governor will say my salary for 1 year, I want to use it to do this. Ask how much is that salary. Of course, it's not much. Of course, for Ngige, you can say, okay, 900,000 for a minister is not much. But, the other emoluments, the other allowances,
but
which he is denying, is a lie.
Exactly.
Is a lie. Is a lie. We know how these things run. For a governor now, he will say, I don't collect more. My salary is 900,000 or 1.2 million. Yes, that is it. That is what we know. But we know that there are obstacles. If you travel, if a governor should travel out of his state per night, you go today, you leave your state today, you go, on officials or any visit to anywhere outside that state. Do you know how much they get depending on the economy of the state?
Yes, yes.
Now, will a governor tell you about the security votes? Which is not even in the constitution, but they get it, they spend it everywhere. And despite, we thought that we see here of a kidnapping and banditry in most of the states, and they're collecting, all this money every month. So for Ngige to be saying 940, yes, I was listening to him I was listening to him yesterday. He said after the morning of now, that 942,000 is actual, the actual salary that he gets. That is the take home.
Yes.
At the end of the month. Now, it will not tell you how much he's paying his gardener. It won't tell you how much he's paying, or let me see on paper that okay, this money is the money for your gardener, and this money is for your cuckoo. 250,000 is for your PO. 150,000 is for this and that too. We are not aware of that now.
Yes.
Now, on paper, they might say the salary for your PA is 250,000. How much is he actually paying that PA?
That PA.
The salary of your cook is 150,000. How much is the cook actually getting? So all those things they won't tell you. The wardrobe allowance, do we know it? The traveling, so it's just a political. It's just all those things. Just a political statement. So do you expect Ngige to come over and say my salary is 5 million per month? It's not possible, because if he say that, you will know that Nigerians will come after ministers. They will come after all those.
I don't want us to waste time, to waste more time on this particular issue. But still talking about Chris Ngige. Ngige opposes a bill putting shackles and chains on doctors. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has expressed opposition to a bill before the House of Representatives mandating medical and dental practitioners to undergo a minimum of 5 years of service to obtain a full license. The proposal seeking to amend the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act is sponsored by the lawmaker representing Oshodi Isolo to federal constituency, Ganiyu Johnson. The bill in question, I don't support it, said Ngige, who made a live appearance yesterday. He, however, stated that the legislator in question was right to put forward a private member's bill, a proposed law introduced into a legislature by a lawmaker who is not acting on behalf of the executive branch. Oluwaseyi, you are aware of this, and consider the number of years that medical students will use in school, adding the fact that ASU might strike. There might be a lot of strikes. It might not even be ASU, but probably internal strikes, which will disrupt and change the the academic calendar. Do you think this is actually the best thing to do? Or do you think by the students, by the medical students, using 5 years, 7 years, I beg your pardon, 7 years will increase or add to the experience of the job, which will later be a help, let me say?
I think on this issue, we've been on this issue for a while. For a while now. It was a member in the House of Rep that actually came up with that bill. And it was due to the brain drain in the health sector, where we have most of our doctors, health workers traveling abroad to seek greener pasture. And the bill was to if at all you want to leave after completion of your residency as a doctor, you must spend at least 5 years. Practice at least for 5 years in Nigeria, so that when you give us your service, we've trained you, and you must work for us. We must get value, or we must enjoy what we've trained you for.
Mm.
If at all you are going to seek greener pasture elsewhere. But this thing is not. It still borders on the welfare. If the welfare here is okay for for medical personnel, they won't go elsewhere. They won't go to the likes of UK, US, and other countries where welfare
Medical
of
practitioners.
medical practitioner is well taken care of.
Mm.
So it is, and like he said yesterday, he faulted it that that bill, but in another way now said that bill cannot be stopped. Even by theirs, because he now made it that maybe it was his constituent, as in that lawmaker constituent that gave him the bill. Oh yeah, sponsor this bill in the house, that this lack of medical personnel that we now have in our hospital, to put a stop to it. So let's have this way. But all those things is just by the way. What we should take care of, what federal government should take care of instead of coming up with that bill, should be the welfare of all these medical personnel. They should take good care of it.
All right, thank you very much, Oluwase Yakombi. And we'll be moving aside now, presently till 9:30 again. We'll come back. We're just going to pave way for Ayo Ayedu to quickly do a short interview session. And thank you very much. Till 9:30 again. Enjoy this interview session.
This is Bottom Line.
Sorry.
So you're saying there's no crisis.
Two cannot work together unless they agree. You believe that?
And you don't. And
the
you
Bible
don't,
even confirms that.
and you don't seem to agree with the outcome of that election.
No, he has lived above that. Now he's just trying to pacify him so that I can carry.
Are you sure you?
No, I'm not pacifying you. I'm not
But
pacifying
my
you.
father, I will do that. Now.
I'm not pacifying you.
That's not an issue.
But I'm making my point so that
So
you see,
you want recognition?
you
Is
see,
that what you're saying?
I'm a recognized person.
help me ask him one question.
I'm a recognized. You can't ask me question.
Help me ask him one question.
You cannot
help
ask
me.
me-
Help me
you
ask him
cannot
that.
ask me question.
Is he still interested in chairmanship?
You cannot ask me
So,
question.
because this, by the time my tenure lapse, I'm not contesting again.
This is Bottom Line. This is Bottom Line.
Hello, good morning, and it's still Bottom Line on Neo Cruise 92.7 FM. Earlier, before now, you were listening to Claudius Daramola and Oluwase Yakombi giving you a bit of information on the pages of newspapers. But of course, at this particular point in time, we head straight to the interview session of the program, and I will be doing this for another 27 to 28 minutes. We'll be calling a financial expert and, of course, somebody to give us in-depth analysis about some raging topics in town. And, of course, my name is Ayo Ayedu. I'll be here for a few more minutes before Claudius Daramola comes back, and himself and Oluwase Yakombi to complete this round of conversation on Bottom Line this morning. The economic crisis the country is facing may seem to take a new direction anytime soon. This is going by what Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki said yesterday while delivering his address during the 2023 May Day celebration held at the Samuel Ogbemodia Stadium in Benin City. Obaseki had said the federal government might not be able to pay workers' salaries beyond June 2023 without resorting to massively printing money or removing fuel subsidy. Obaseki said, and I quote, "It would be a miracle for the federal government and state governments to pay salaries beyond June this year without resorting to massively printing money or removing fuel subsidy. Either of these decisions will bring more hardship and pain to Nigerians, particularly workers." In a swift response, the federal government Through the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige dismissed the governor's warning as an alarm. Ngige also assured the workers that the federal government has the capacity to meet the proposed pay rise, saying the President Buhari-led administration had made adequate provision for the workers. The revelation by Obaseki is definitely going to generate some controversies in the coming days, and it is important to look into the purport and enormity of this alarm. To do this, we have join us on the phone our public affairs analyst, Mr. Olanrewaju Oloruninshola. Good morning, Mr. Oloruninshola.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Kitty people.
All right, good morning, and then thanks for joining us on Bottom Line this morning. Straight to the heart of the matter, this is not the first time Governor Obaseki is raising this kind of alarm. You will recall that Obaseki in April 2021 said the federal government printed 60 billion naira as part of federal allocation for March 2021. He also made that similar remark in October last year during the campaign, saying the APC government has been printing so much money to run the economy. And at different times, the federal government and even some governors said Obaseki goofed. Do you think Obaseki goofed this time around, Mr. Olanrewaju?
Well, Obaseki did not goof. Let me put it as bluntly as that. And the fears he's raising are very, very valid. Why do I say this? When you look at the budget for 2023, there is no provision any year for subsidy beyond June. So if the federal government now says, oh, we're not taking out subsidy again, and our subsidy will remain, what they are saying is that, okay, we need to continue to to raise money to subsidize petroleum products. The impact of that on every other side of the economy is that, like he has rightly said, they want the money to pay salaries for workers, which is very, very true. I remember that up until about a month ago, there was no question about whether the subsidy was going to stay beyond June. That was the understanding everybody had from January. And the government had enough time to prepare. And when I say prepare to cushion the effect. Yes, it's going to hit everybody very hard. But you see, you can't run away from this. We pushed it forward for too long. We've been on this removal from 2012, and here we are, we're still talking. So, Obaseki's fears are very valid. The alarm is not a false one. And if you see some ministers saying that it should be ignored, I think that's a way to say, look, it's not going to be our problem after May 29. It's going to be the baby of the new government to carry. But Nigerians should be prepared.
Okay. With the removal of fuel subsidy imminent, because last week the news that was making the round on Thursday was that the government had said we are not taking off a fuel subsidy in the meantime. But of course, a day after, the government also said, well, we have to clarify. We are taking off the fuel subsidy as planned by the end of June. Now that you have fuel subsidy removal very, very imminent, can you create a link between the planned removal and Obaseki's revelation?
You see, I think we should let's take it back a bit.
Okay.
One of the challenges that the economy is facing this year is that the government didn't make enough plans to fund the budget. That's the beginning of the problem. We didn't make enough plans to fund the budget. Almost more than half of the budget, more than half of the funds needed to fund the budget this year will be borrowed. And you see, we have gotten to a point now that it has become difficult to even find money to borrow the federal government. That's why there's a resort, or there will be a resort to printing naira notes just to keep the economy running. So we didn't prepare well on how to fund the budget. We expected that we're going to get about 7.4 trillion from domestic borrowing, about 1.8 trillion from foreign loans, and if you now say, oh, we will take out subsidy, we will not take out subsidy, the real issue is finding money. This is late. It's already difficult. Now, the government has also tried to shoot itself in the leg. 40% increase for federal workers. That's a problem.
So you think that's a wrong move on the part of the federal government?
They made that move to prepare for subsidy removal. So that a lot of problems that might arise economic and financially for a lot of federal government workers have already been taken care of. They call it the peculiar salary, whatever. Now, if you decide you're not taking subsidy away and you started paying something to cushion the subsidy,
you
already have a problem. So another issue we are not looking at as I said is that this government is prepared to leave. More like they are tired. They're just marking time they want to go. So a lot of these problems are going to be for the incoming government to solve. We're going to see a lot of policy somersaults, reversal of the executive visions here and there. One of them might be this issue of subsidy. If the Afghan government says we will continue subsidy, of course they have no say beyond May 29. We should be looking more to the incoming government to say, how do you want to tackle this problem? As I have a categorical statement from the transition committee, we should be working right now to say, this is what would obtain after May 29, because there should be some form of cohesion between the outgoing and the incoming government, and that's where the transition committee comes in.
Right.
As the transition committee said, anything like, what would be the status of subsidy going forward after May 29? So if we're not paying subsidy, if we're removing subsidy, why have we started paying some people 40% salary increase? Yes, in all of this, we still don't have sources of funding enough to fund the budget for 2023. So the bottom line is that we're going to face a lot of economic hiccups. Whether you take out subsidy or it remains, we're going to face. If you take out subsidy, we're going to have inflation.
Right.
If you go to print more naira notes to continue to be able to pay civil servants, like it happened in 2021, and what you will get is that there will be instability of price system. That's what happens when you have too much currency, circulating in the economy. They're going to have instability. In fact, now we have an instability of price system, and then it becomes full inflation. Some of the things we saw in the economy last year, 2022, and late 2021, when prices just kept soaring, prices of everything, it was as a result of money that had been printed in 2020 and 2021. But when Obaseki was raising an alarm, everybody was like, it was a false alarm. He has raised it again. And if you check the man's antecedents, you will understand that he knows what he's saying.
Definitely.
Yes. So let me just pause there for now.
Okay, you already raised the point about the government not looking for adequate means to fund this year appropriation bill. In your own estimation, could the government have done aside borrowing from external sources?
You see, aside borrowing from when I say borrowing, I'm talking about domestic borrowing and foreign borrowing. Now, aside those two, what they should have done is to find means to generate. Unfortunately, we see that anytime the government here talks about generation, what you see is just an increase in taxes.
I was going to go to that point.
Yeah, an increase in taxes. As I read last year when they started talking about what the budget of 2023 would be, the idea was that they were going to generate 8.5 trillion out of the proposed 19.49 trillion. They generate just 8.5. That's less than 50%. So if the economy cannot give more, up to 50% to fund the budget, that's a problem. Secondly, what's been happening in the oil sector? A barrel is selling for about $100. What has NNPC remitted in the last 2 years? Absolutely nothing. Yes, the government is still, spending on NNPC, which is now a private company. Of course, you won't see that in the record books, but NNPC is still there. It's sad that we're waiting for, one of the problems with this subsidy removal, whether it is still or not, is nobody can tell you precisely that this is when Dangote will come Dangote refinery will come online fully. To be able to say some of the effects of this removal will be cushioned. So the government left a lot of things undone. Generation, how could we have generated money? It's rather late in the day to be asking for the government to be thinking of how they will generate money to fund the budget of 2023. We are almost mid-year 2023. This should have happened about 3 years ago for a forward-thinking administration. They were forward-thinking, planning. This government has no planning. I was saying this in another event. I said one of the things this government lacked from day one is national planning. We don't have a finance ministry. And you see, always this knee-jerk approach, and we react. The government is reactive. The government doesn't respond to anything. It's late in the day, they want to go, everything is still reactive. So, generation, we should have, over time, built capacity to generate money to fund the budget. Have we really diversified from home? Even MPC is not remitting and it's telling on how we fund our budget. It says that, yes, we have not diversified from home. We have only looked towards taxes. Yes, we've made a lot of money. FRS has generated a lot of money through taxes. We've brought more people into the tax net, so that Nigeria can make money. But that alone